Hey everybody, this is Brandon from Sparksmith, and today we're going to take a look at headlight restoration. We've got an 08 Toyota Camry in here, and as you can see, the headlights have gotten pretty dingy over the years. A lot of times these can be cleaned up, sanded down, polished. There's two schools of thought on this. Some people like to clear coat them, some people like to sand and polish. You can do it either way. Just know that if you clear coat it, it will last longer. It'll be much harder to get off later on when it peels off, because it will eventually peel off. The sanding and polishing method, like we're going to do today, we do several stages of wet sanding, and then use a heavy-duty rubbing compound, and then a final polish, and then a coat of wax. And that helps them keep them looking nice and clean without having to do the clear coat. So we're going to take a shot at these and see how much improvement we can get, because right now, like as I said, you can see they're pretty hazed up. The output has been pretty significantly reduced, making nighttime driving a little bit more dangerous. So we're going to see if we can breathe some life back into these. So we got the surrounding area masked up, and we're going to start with 1000 grit. You can start with something a little more coarse. I've gone as low as like 800. You don't want to go much lower than 800 grit, because you can risk getting some pretty deep scratches in there that will become very difficult to get out. But in this case, like I said, we're starting with 1000, and once the entire headlight has been sanded smooth with 1000 grit, we will then switch to 2000 and then 3000. And you'll notice when he first starts, it's got this kind of yellowy cloudiness to it. What you want to do is keep it nice and wet and keep sanding that until the water that's on there turns to a milky white color, because all that yellow brownish part on there is the oxidation that's coming off. And once it turns to white, you've got that top oxide layer removed. So we'll go through a few steps of this. It'll take a few minutes and we'll be right back. So we've made a little further with the 1000 grit, and then if you take a towel and wipe it off, you can kind of start to get a feel for how evenly you have it sanded. So you want the whole thing to have a very uniform sheen to it. Just make sure you're getting it evenly all over the headlight. And then you go back over it one more time with some water. Do a little bit more sanding. And make sure that the residue that's coming off has turned this kind of white color. That's what you want to see. And once it's completely uniform and it has that white color to it, you can move on to the next level of sanding. Okay, we finished with the 1000 grit, and you'll see now that we're going to change direction. So the first time we were going left to right sanding, and with the 2000 grit, we're going to generally do an up and down motion so that, again, you're getting that nice uniform sanding of the surface. And the whole goal of the 2000 grit is to smooth out the scratches from the 1000 grit. Then we'll repeat the process in yet a different direction with the 3000 grit, and then we'll take a look at how far we've come and how much difference the final steps make of buffing and polishing. So we finished with the 2000, moving on to the 3000. We're going to use a kind of circular pattern here. Again, it's all about keeping that uniform sanding of the entire headlight so that it's all even. You can already see there's a big difference between that and what we started with. So after this, we'll move on to buffing. So we finished with the 3000 grit. The headlight's looking nice and smooth, and now we're going to move on to, I use the 3M Perfect-It compound and machine polish. So we'll start with the compound and go from there. Always start off slow so you don't splatter the compound everywhere. Otherwise you'll be wearing it and have it all over the car and waste it. When you're using a foam pad like this, you can pretty much go as fast as you want and press as hard as you want, and it's not going to burn through that polycarbonate lens. Alright, so we got them all polished up and buffed and waxed. You can see it's a pretty substantial difference, and that will always improve the output, improve your safety at night, visibility, with just a few simple steps. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you want to check out some more of our videos, be sure to like and subscribe, and check us out on social media to keep up with all the other shenanigans around the shop.